Well, to talk more about that announcement from the Turkish president, let's bring in our Ankara correspondent, Jasper Mortimer. Jasper, Turkey signed the Paris Accords in 2015. Why has it taken Erdogan 6 years to actually get around to ratifying the accord?
Because he held out for concessions. In previous accords, such as the Kyoto Protocol, there had been concessions to developing countries like Turkey. But the Paris Accord made no such concessions. This is what Erdogan was referring to just now when he used the word injustices. Now, last night, he said Turkey was going to ratify the accords in a parliamentary process beginning next month, quote, following the distance covered in this regard. Now, I don't know what distance has been covered towards Turkey's objections. Certainly, we haven't seen any headlines in the press like Turkey wins concessions on Paris Accord. What has happened is that Erdogan has come under increasing pressure from the leaders of business and industry. I attended a dinner at the Izmir Association of Industrialists and Businessmen 2 weeks ago, where the chairman of the association, Mustafa Karabali, made it very clear that he and his colleagues had been telling the government, stop holding out for concessions on the Paris Accord. For goodness sake, ratify the accord, otherwise we will lose customers. You see, the accords oblige countries to reduce their greenhouse gases with the ultimate aim of net zero emissions by 2050. And the countries are now enforcing the accords by saying they won't allow products into their country if they come from countries which are not abiding by those accords. So Europe will stop buying Turkish products because Turkish products' carbon footprint is too big, as the jargon goes. At the same dinner, the European Union ambassador, Niklaus Meyer-Landrut, said Turkey shouldn't see Europe's green criteria as a burden, but as an opportunity, because once Turkey implemented the criteria, its exporters would get a lot more business.
Jasper, how big is the green movement there in Turkey? Are many people concerned with the environment on a day-to-day basis?
Certainly there are. Turkey has a very active environmental lobby, which is not scared of standing up to the government and taking the government to court. Sometimes it wins, sometimes it loses. I'll give you 2 examples. The environmentalists opposed the construction of the new Istanbul airport because to build it meant cutting down a lot of trees. And that forest was seen as the green lung of Istanbul. And the airport is also in the route of migratory birds. However, the government prevailed and the airport was built. And one hears stories that sometimes flights have to be delayed because there are too many birds flying over the runway. However, in the second case, I'll tell you, when the government wanted to build a gigantic bridge across Izmir Bay, this was announced in 2017, and it actually got approval from the Ministry of Environment and Urbanization. The environmentalists took the government to court, and the Nature Association called scientists who told the court that the northern end of the bridge would trample on the breeding ground of Izmir's flamingos and drastically curtail the reproduction of brine shrimp, the creatures that breed in the mud and which form the staple of the flamingo's diet. The court found the bridge's environmental impact assessment to be flawed. It imposed a temporary halt on construction, and 5 months later, the government cancelled the entire bridge project. The head of the Nature Foundation, Dicle Tuberkilic, said this was a historic victory, and it was. It's not often that Erdogan's government retreats.
Jasper, thank you for that. Jasper Mortimer there reporting for us from Ankara.